how do you think your contribution to social media has affected the community in which you live? We can't say that yet here with this, but I think the folks up here can do that. So why don't we start with Zena?
Okay, so what I personally have done, can I ditch and start with Tony? Because I think you have a great story about Kansas City. Do you mind starting, and then I'll.
It's already anarchy up here.
What has my side done for the community? I'd like to think that it's challenged the established order of how news is disseminated. And I think it's challenged the order of what we call news. And I'd like to think that I do that. But on a basic level, you know, we we're one newspaper town. And in that newsroom, there is one a Latina columnist who's very good. I noticed that there wasn't a lot of diversity. I noticed in our local media scene there's not a lot of diversity. So coming from a blog that gets a lot of hits, that has a lot of readers, and you know has been favorited a lot of times, I think what I've done is offer a minority perspective that maybe wasn't there before.
Anybody else want to answer that?
Hi everybody. I'm Ramsey. Just a little background in terms of my relevance in terms of contributing to the social media community and our community, Kansas City and Lawrence. So I'm a video blogger by night, and so I guess the quick and short version of my story is I started creating video blogs at different events where I literally would just give a candid take of what it was like to actually be there. And I just had fun with it. I thought I want to share this content because it's better than taking a picture. A video is way better than taking a picture, and I love video. So what I found was there was quite a bit of following in terms of when I would publish this, rather than just my social graph of my Facebook friends. There was a larger need or want to consume this for people who didn't even know me. And I guess the example that I would give in terms of how it's affected the community is, I covered the Constantino's opening downtown in Kansas City. So everybody knows the whole revitalization of downtown's been a big deal, and so any of the new openings were really of interest to the entire community, no matter who it came from. And so Constantino's actually reached out to me. They knew I was publishing this content, and they thought, well, if we give this guy access, perhaps he'll do a video blog on it. And naturally, I was very interested as I lived downtown. I wanted to see it, just like everyone else in the community, so I created content. I went and actually did a video blog and gave a real take of what it was like to actually be there and what to expect. And it wasn't until John Constantino, a conversation I had with him later, till I realized the effects of my media content that I'm producing for free and for fun, in terms of its reach in comparison to traditional media. The quote that he told me that sort of blew my mind, and I blogged about this, was, I'm published in the Kansas City Star, John Constantino, all the time. And the one video blog that we shot that had thousands of views was more commented, remarkable than any of the Kansas City mentions in the Star that I've ever gotten. I had grandkids, I had coworkers, I had everyone I knew. A larger reach of people coming back to me and saying, hey, I saw that video blog of the new store that you're opening, it's awesome. And to me then, I realized it hit home, wow, things have really shifted. You know, you've got Johnny Blogger over here, Ramsey, creating content, and it's really shifting the way that news is being pushed out. So in terms of my effects of the community, what I think is really cool is that someone who would not have a platform, I would say that you know, information, rather than being more of a dictatorship where we had traditional media pushing down the news, because of the democracy that we have in terms of how people can publish information, a guy like Ramsey is being asked to come and cover what would typically just be traditional media opportunities. And people are receptive to it because there's no filter. It's candid, it's real, it's, hey, by the way, the salad bar is freaking huge in this place at the grocery store, which, in no offense to the Star, they probably wouldn't even mention that. But the reality is, you know, we're human. We care about that kind of stuff. I want to go there over my lunch break because you know, it's got a huge salad bar. So anyway, that's a long, drawn-out answer. But
and if you haven't experienced what Ramsey is doing in the grocery cart, just go to the to Free State Social and see that was pretty funny.
Apparently I like grocery stores, I guess.
Hi, I'm Shea. I'm from Wichita. There's some of you out there from Wichita too. Yay. A few years ago, I moved to Wichita from Los Angeles, and I was used to an environment where if I wanted to find a place to go, I could Google it, and I would find a wealth of information. Unfortunately, Wichita sort of lacked that. And while there's you know, a great newspaper, if I'm looking for things like about lifestyle, like I want to know where's the best pizza place, hey, who has the best drink specials on Thursday. That's something that I'm going to Google, and I want to find great content on, and that really didn't exist. So grabbed some of my friends who also blog and were interested in similar areas online, and we decided to create it. And I think it was really just a matter of, you know, if there was a need, it was this huge void in our community, and so we came up with a solution, and it really worked. So the site's called Verb ICT. Verb because every category on the site is a verb, so it's like eat, drink, do, go, play, and so on. Help, so we do a lot with the community. Like Ramsey said, I mean, we get a lot of offers from large organizations in the community to come and cover their events and talk about them, but we've also really become a strong online community just for the residents of Wichita. Some of our posts about like pizza, for example, you know, get like 30, 40 comments, and I realize that's not like a huge number, but in Wichita that's pretty healthy because it's all a very positive discussion. Since we've had the site, we've had maybe 8 negative comments, if that. We have a really strict comment policy, I think, for what we're trying to do, which is portray Wichita in a very positive light and really encourage the people who live there to engage and participate in the conversation. We have to keep it that way. Our traditional newspaper in Wichita, which does great work, unfortunately, is known for being, like, the commenters are just like the bottom feeders of the bottom feeders. And we didn't want that environment. We want it to be positive. And the best thing, I think, for all of us who are involved at the top is what we've learned from our readers is, I mean, we can't even put it into words. Any post, I mean, I feel like I learned 10 new things from what people in our community have to say. So for us, it was really just giving them an outlet and giving us an outlet to a place to produce some pretty cool stuff.
Okay, so why I'm involved in social media and why I'm up here most likely has to do with the community, Kansas City community, and a lot of the people that are out here that have lifted me up because of social media and the social media club in Kansas City. There's over 1,000 members in this in our club, and what I love about it is it's a very threaded community. It is, if I can't help you, someone else here will be able to help you. Let me introduce you to that person. And to me, it's all about what's in real life. You know, what am I going to get out of this in real life? My community online, my virtual community supports me, helps me, and hopefully I help all of you as well. But it's more what we can do in real life to continue to elevate Kansas City to a city that actually brings a lot to the table when it comes to social media, interactive media, emerging technologies. So I helped start the social media club in Kansas City, so that's probably the reason I'm here.
Thanks. So one of the things that Ellen touched on that I think is really interesting and very appropriate for our discussion today is this idea of what's happening versus what journalists have defined as citizen journalism, which I actually have come to the point where I really hate that term because it's something that journalists sort of put out and said, okay, you can be a citizen journalist, but you can never be a real journalist, you know? That's bogus. And I think that, so one of the things that I want to ask you all is, what is the future of social media in this arena of trying to get the best information out to people, have the best conversations, give people a voice who don't have a voice? How does that work with what's been called traditional journalism?